Here we go. Day 4 of the challenge. Hello, everyone. Today, like I said, is day 4. The last 3 days, I've been talking about some really good topics, but they're a little bit on the heavy side sometimes. Because we all tend to see something that resonates with us. And I was speaking about non-judgment. I was speaking about patience. And when we look at something like that, we tend to judge our own selves and say, like, oh my gosh, I haven't been non-judgmental, and I have not been patient, and we tend to be mean to ourselves when that's not the point. The point is to be more compassionate, right? So that we can move forward. So today I'm going to change it all up a little bit, and I was just going to talk about the joy of spaces, physical spaces. Just in case you don't know who I am Nicole Laswell. Call myself the Inner Peace Broker. I help people broker peace within themselves because I've seen what it can do in someone's life to be peaceful and to be able to feel like they can be themselves and choose the life they've always wanted to create. A lot of us don't feel like we have permission or that we're free enough to be ourselves. And what's really neat, it feels like everything's starting to change worldwide. And that's the beauty, again, of I've been talking about the beauty of COVID. Nobody likes to hear about the beauty of COVID, but there was a lot of growth from all of that. So here we are. I'm going to adding another topic of growth, but it's a different kind and one that was really joyful for me. So I never thought of myself as an interior decorator, but everybody loves what I do with my spaces. So I figured, you know what, let's talk about that today. And the genesis of that, where it really became a thing of joy for me. I used to teach at a wonderful university, my alma mater, actually. And the buildings, well, they're a little old. And this specific building was one of the first ones on that campus. And I'd been teaching there for, I want to say, 3 or 4 years at that point. And at one moment, I walk into my office because we all had our own offices, which was really nice because not all universities offer that. I was a visiting instructor, so I had a yearly contract. So it's not like I was tenured or anything like that. I had to sign up every year. So it was really nice because in other universities, you're like a lecturer and then you basically get a cubicle. And that's a little harder to what I'm going to talk about today, but you can still make it your own. So I walk into my office one day and I just look, and it had those fluorescent lights. That's the only light source that I had in the room. And fluorescent light is not as fun. It actually feels like it sucks your energy. I had beautiful windows though, which was wonderful because I had trees on the outside. But the furniture itself, not pretty. Very old, just kind of falling apart. The chair that I had, I felt like it was from the 80s, and it had like this beautiful dust thing happening on the sides, when you sit down, and like your bottom has shaped where you always sit, and then where you don't sit is just dust collected and dust on the back seat. I just walked in, I said, you know what, no. It's funny how when you're ready to let go of something, it just lets you know, I'm done. I don't want that anymore. So when I walked in, I asked it just came to my head. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I don't like this space anymore. And I started asking questions at the university because you kind of have to ask for permission to do certain things. But I was kind of more I asked questions. I asked, well, what can I do to get newer furniture? Because it is kind of, yucky. And then they told me, well, you can go to this little depot area that we have where we save furniture from other spaces that we've closed down or moved things around. So I went to look at it, not promising. So I said, what do you guys feel about if I bring my own furniture? And then, I just let you guys take that furniture out from that room. And I asked my husband, because of course I was like, honey, would you invest $2,000 in me? And $2,000 sounds like a lot, but for a whole office, a desk, a really nice chair, all the stuff that goes on the walls. I had a little refrigerator from my days of having being pregnant and lactating and all that other fun stuff. I just wanted my own refrigerator, not the community one. So just little things of that nature. Chairs for people to sit in when they came in to see me. And of course, IKEA is what I was thinking of. So, and my husband's like, okay, go for it. And he was so awesome. He helped me put all the things up. And how I started was I just grabbed the cup that I have, and you've seen it in my videos. It's one of those cups that just called to me, and it brought me so much joy just looking at the cup. And what's really interesting is when you pick up a piece of art, the artist already infused certain colors to it, and if it's calling your name, that means those are the colors that bring you joy. So if you can take that as your inspiration source, then you can make something completely new in terms of a physical space. So that's what I did. I grabbed my mug and I noticed that I love the colors blue and gold, which apparently, I didn't know this, but there's a color wheel. And they are, I believe, opposite to each other. I don't know exactly the name. I'm not an interior design, not interior decorator, but I do know the rules, and I just, once I find something I love, I'm going to research it as much as I can to see what I can do better and better and better. So the space, all of a sudden, it just became beautiful. My husband helped me pull my stuff up. And when the school year started, it was really cute because there was a colleague of mine who came in and immediately he goes, it's like a different dimension in here. And I thought it was the funniest thing that he said, but it totally felt true. It was a different dimension. As soon as you stepped through my door threshold, you had the fluorescent lights, and I stopped using my fluorescent light and I used desk lamps and standing lamps. And then, of course, that beautiful bright light from the outside from my window, which was really gorgeous. And then I added curtains that went with it, and I'll have to show pictures at some point. But then the students started showing up. And it was real sweet because as they show up, they just kind of sat in their chair, and you could see that they just wanted to sit in the space and talk to me. And what was really neat is this space created this feeling of nurturing because, again, the lights were different. Everything, there was softer tones. All the books that I had, I just organized them in a way that it wasn't just the books, because that's the beautiful thing about academia. We love our books. We love them everywhere, and they can be very nurturing. But the way that I had them originally was just not pretty. So what I did is I kind of moved in a space that, it was a cohesive thing. So the whole thing changed. And then my students started asking me, because I was also I was the manager in charge of all the director of the tutors. So I was in charge of making sure that the tutors got paid, they got their hours in and all that other stuff. And the tutoring room was a mess. It was just not pretty. And so they asked me to help them to get that space done, which interestingly enough did create some issue with some other colleagues within the department because they didn't feel like the money was being spent in the correct way. But the furniture was not up to code, period. Like, we just needed something that was safe because things were bowing and it was just not safe. Let's just put it that way. And it got done. But what I love the most about it, it empowered me to start asking questions from the administration, because I always saw myself as a lowly instructor. Look at that, a lowly instructor. I have a master's degree in modern languages. I have taught for 15 years. I was a professor, instructor, teacher, whatever you want to call it. In English, it doesn't sound correct because a full professor would require a PhD, but in Español, es profesora, profesor. So instructor, teacher, whatever works for you is fine. But what was interesting, that in me, I could see that I had a hierarchy issue going on. And let's be honest, in academia, there is a silent but understood tenured full professor, assistant professor, all that fun stuff that we create as human beings. But it's funny how even the social aspects change the relationships, and you can do this anywhere. So when we say high school continues everywhere else, it does. So it's, where do you want to fit in that high school group, right? In that groove kind of thing. What's really fun is again, my space helped me realize my own potential. It started getting me attention from my other colleagues because they could see that I was, again, deciding to do something for myself. I dared to make my own space without really consulting everybody there, just administration and then just a few things. And they said, okay, yeah, whatever you're going to do is just as long as it doesn't cut into budget. Okay, great. Then it's my stuff and I'll bring it in. But what was amazing was it empowered me to then start making decisions outside of just my courses. And then it became a service thing. I was able to be a better service, not just for my own classes and my students, but for the department itself, because I felt like I was giving something, not just in my teaching, but in my coming to work, my energy at work, because I was so happy to come to my office and to have people in my office. The energy changed and I was more involved. I did salsa, teaching students salsa at the mall, teaching what else? I mean, we did so many things. We did a parranda. We did, of course, Spanish club. We cooked, and it added to it. And again, just because of a space, hi, beautiful. Just because I changed the space, and that energy allowed for so many other things to come. So all of a sudden, I started paying attention to spaces and and of course, my sons, especially my oldest, they are very aware of space, especially William. I think he's going to be an architect at some point, and we're going to work together and, dreams. We'll see. He loves Minecraft and he loves to create rooms with bedrooms and lamps. So it's funny that it's transferring into him, or he's always had it and now he's showing it to me. So why do I bring the joy of spaces is to see where in your house or wherever you live, because we also had to live in apartments at one point, because all the medical bills of a therapy for children are quite expensive, and the choices we made us have to take other choices later on, from going to a house to a 2-bedroom apartment, which was a very painful decision at the beginning, but it was one of the smartest decisions we could have done, and one of the best things we could have done as a family, because we had to live with each other in this little 2-bedroom apartment. Now the cool thing is, because I had been training myself on how to create spaces, I had to figure out a way for everything to fit. So I worked at the Container Store for a couple of years, loved it, except all my money went straight back to the Container Store, so I had to stop working there. But there's products that I loved. Alpha was one of them, because when you run out of space down here, you want to go vertical and on a wall, and all of a sudden you have more space to do things. And then it made me think outside the box, because we all have to fit our toys, our offices, which again, COVID was really cool, because again, people had to learn how to live in smaller spaces, because now we're all stuck at home. How do we create spaces that are designated for specific purposes? So I leave you with that today. I'm hoping that this brings you awareness to you. So you can go into your dining room and be like, do we want the dining room like this? What if we move the table around this way? Or what if we, switch the lighting here? Paint the wall. Just paint does wonders. And I do want to mention something interesting that I hadn't mentioned before. Or maybe I have mentioned it before, but it'll come soon in other videos. I do this thing called body testing. Body testing is when you ask your body to show you if you want something or if you don't want something. And it's just for fun. Just try this. It might be weird for you, but try it. Stand on your 2 feet, nice and centered. Knees kind of somewhat bent. I have a whole video on it, by the way, in my YouTube channel. You can find it. Body testing 1, body testing 2. And what you do is, I already had an idea what I wanted to do, but I used my body to figure out which color pink I wanted. And so I closed my eyes, I put the paint chips to my chest, or I point at which ones I wanted, and I said, truth body, is this the paint chip that will bring me the most joy and financial abundance? Very specific. And I'm so glad, Jamie. And what's funny is that the color is perfect. It brings me so much joy. And my husband's like, pink? Are you serious? I'm like, just let me see which pink. And that's the pink that came out. And then the couch just came on Monday, and it's glorious. It's kind of like a Chesterfield is what it's called. It's a sleep couch. It's pull-out couch, and it's gorgeous and glorious. And that blanket just came out of nowhere. And I said, will this one bring me joy? Yes. And the lamps, as I'm looking, because I wanted stand-up lamps, but it's what kind of lamps do I want? What color schemes do I want? And then we, of course, we have IKEA and Target. So this is a beautiful table from IKEA. These beautiful chairs are from Target. And it's really interesting. Oh, and then I have a peel-on wallpaper that you can kind of see there. I'll post some more pictures later. But just walking into the space, you can feel the vibration of creation. Like that's what I do in here. I write, I'm creating videos. This will also, like I said, be the podcast room. I'm already trying different mics to see how it's going to work, because a bunch of I'm part of another fantastic group called Soulful Awakenings Era, and we are embodying radical authenticity is what ERA stands for. And we are awesome ladies who have some fantastic questions. So you'll see them here soon as well. So this is just me practicing, but they'll be practicing with us soon. But yeah, so this will be the space where we'll be able to have these fantastic questions that open us up to possibilities of what else we can create in our lives. And it doesn't have to be, hi, Christina, that it doesn't have to be a specific, that life isn't what you thought it had to be, that it can be so much more. Again, children with autism taught me that. Doesn't mean that that's the way we have to live. It can be so much more. So here's my challenge, or my, not challenge, but my question to you, for you to ask yourself, what are you looking to create in your life? What will bring you the most joy? And see if everything around you is in alignment with you already. Is your space in alignment with that joy? Have you been feeling like it's time to clean up and throw some stuff away? Yes. Energy stays on things. So if you want certain things and they still bring you joy, fantastic, keep them. But check in, because if it's not bringing you joy anymore, it might bring joy to someone else. The whole Marie Kondo thing is really interesting. I've always practiced that, but I love that now more and more people are seeing that. Do it at home for you. It takes a little work at the beginning, but once it's done, it's glorious. Absolutely glorious. Okay, so that's it. Yay! Oh, I'm so glad, Miss Jamie. Yes, make your spaces beautiful and just delve in them. Enjoy them. That's I should have been an interior designer, I think. All kinds of things. But I'm glad I was a Spanish teacher. I really enjoyed this. All right. I love you all. Sending you so much love and light. Again, if you don't see me here on Facebook, you can just see me, and because I'm going to have to put this on Instagram too. YouTube channel, find me as Nicole Laswell. If you like the video, hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is gonna be a lot of fun. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 5 of my 30-day video challenge. All right, love y'all. Bye.